Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to tune your cello. Tuning your cello is a lifelong journey. So don't feel like, okay, I'll figure this out all in one go. But we want to get you close enough where you can play something. So this is our goal. All right, so the first rule is do not touch your pegs. Don't touch them unless you absolutely have to. They are a pain in the butt. You gotta use muscle. It's bad. It's bad. So avoid this area at all costs, unless you must. Sometimes you must. So most of our tuning we're going to use with our fine tuner down on our tailpiece, and those are way easier to work with. I like it. I like it a lot. The other thing we need is a tuning app. We are always going to start with our A string, which is our highest string, the string that's farthest away from our bow arm. And then we're going to go to our D string, our G string, and our C string. So always start with A. Everybody in the orchestra always starts with A if you're playing an orchestra. A is kind of like our common note, so everybody starts with A. So here in today, I'm going to use two different apps. You can choose whatever you want. There's like tuners that fit to your scroll. You can use that. I don't love that. But the easiest thing is to just get an app for your phone. Today we're going to be using Cadenza and an app that I really like called Tonal Energy. And I think they both cost a couple of bucks. I don't know if they're both Apple products or Android products, but you choose your own adventure. They pretty much all work the same way. They all kind of have an icon that says, hey, you are too flat, or hey, you are too sharp. That's what they're going to tell you. So I'm going to make my cello a little out of tune. I just tuned it. So here I am, and I am using Cadenza first. Here I am in Cadenza. I'm going to play my A string, or the string that's farthest away from my arm. And my little icon tells me that I'm a little bit too flat. It has a minus sign. So if you see a minus sign, that means you're too low, and we have to make it higher. So if it's on this side, we want to make it go towards the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go righty-tighty to make it a little bit higher. I'm going to use my fine tuner, and I'm going to tune it. I'm going to give it, in this case, let's see again how far it was. It says 9 cents too flat. That's not very flat. So I'm going to give it maybe 2 small turns. Let's see if I fixed it. Oh, it still says it's 6 cents flat. I'm going to turn righty-tighty again, a little bit higher. Oh, I have 1. It says I'm perfect. I feel very validated again. So, I'm going to do the same junk on the D string. Here I go to the D string. I'm going to make it out of tune. You don't see this. You don't see this. Okay, I'm going to play my D string. Ew! I don't like the way that sounds. It says it's 24 cents too sharp. So if we're too sharp, that means we are above the note, and we are going to, instead of righty-tighty, we're going to go the other way. Lefty-loosey with our fine tuner. I want to make sure that I'm on my D string because I'm dealing with my D string. And I am going to give it 4 turns. Let's see if I overdid it. Oh, I won. I came in with, I still need to go a little bit lower. Perfect. If you overdo it, that is totally okay. Just righty-tighty it. So our goal is just to make that moving icon match the steady one in the middle. And Cadenza is nice because it tells you when you're perfect. I wish that somebody would tell me I was perfect in my regular life all the time. That would be awesome.
You're perfect.
Oh. Laurel just told me I was perfect. Hopefully I will get more than one of those today. Okay. You can also use Tonal Energy. For both of these apps, make sure that you go to the tuning fork. There's some other options, so we want to make sure that we use that tuning fork. I am going to do the same thing with my G string. I'm going to say, are you in tune? Oh, and it's telling me I am 10 cents too sharp. So I'm going to make sure that I'm on my G string, and I am going to lefty-loosey to make it a little bit flatter. And I'm getting the green smile of approval, so I'm going to do my C string. Same junk, it's just a little bit too sharp. I'm going to loosen it just a little bit. I make sure that I'm on my C string. Green smile of approval. And you're gonna have to make sure, again, if you go too far in one direction, it's totally fine. Just go to the other direction. Our goal is to just be in that middle area. Now, if your cello goes wild, sometimes if the weather is crazy, if it's raining, if it was 70 degrees yesterday and 30 degrees the next day, if you bump it, if your dog looks at it funny, sometimes your cello can go wild. So, if your cello is way out of tune, it doesn't sound anything like it should. If you're playing this A and it says, and instead of the corner it says like C or something, then we might have to use the pegs. Pegs, again, if you can get out of using the pegs, get out of using them because they're annoying. I'm actually going to use my daughter's cello because I don't even want to fool with the pegs on my own cello. But hers are a little bit easier to use. Just because it's small and cute. So here I am. I'm going to play my open A, or her open A. And I'm just a little bit too sharp, so I'm going to use my harmonics for this. But I'm going to make this out of tune on purpose. I'm going to make this too flat, like by an hour. Oh, and I made my A string out of tune. This is going to be great. And then my D string is so out of tune, I can't even tell what's going on here. It's bad. So first I'm going to let's fix the D string first. So the D string is so out of tune, it's not, I can't even play it. It's on another level. So I can tell already that it's too flat by a large margin because it's really wobbly. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the cello towards me. And I make sure that I'm on the right peg. Here I am on my D string. That's going to be your top peg on your right if it's facing you. I don't do rights and lefts very well, so just bear with me. So here I am. I'm making sure that I'm fooling with the right string. In this case, I'm on my D string. I have to really push in as I am turning up. It is not, I am not turning up and then pushing in. I am not pushing in and then I am turning up. I am doing both of those things at the same time. So I am pushing in. Sometimes I have to push in as hard as I possibly can while I am turning up. The other thing I want to do is I check in with my string. So I keep plucking it to make sure that I don't go too sharp. If you go way too sharp, a lot of times your string can pop. So we want to try to make sure, if at all possible, to keep it a little bit on the low end and raise it up. So I am close now. I pushed in and I pushed up at the same time. Two things at once. I'm pretty close now. I'm close enough, I think. Let's try it with our bow. Close enough now where I could use my fine tuner. That's where we want to be. When we want to get to a spot where we could use our fine tuner, when that tuner, if I'm tuning the D, if it says D, even if it's way sharp or way flat, I want to just use my fine tuners when I can. So here I am on my A, checking in with it. Now it says it's too flat. It still says A, so I'm going to use my fine tuner. Yay! I'm really close. This cello is very sensitive. And again, your tuner itself is going to be very sensitive. They're kind of like wild. They go wild one way or the other. So just make sure that that icon is as close as you can get it. If it's wiggling around just a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Again, we just want to be in the right ballpark. You want to be on an A and as close to that metal as possible, but it's not worth like ripping all your hair out to get it just like perfectly in tune. So enjoy and good luck. Again, if you can get out of touching your pegs, do it.